Okay, analyzing their skills. Vice the Accumulate, the Great Emperor of Deep Ground, started out as a first-class soldier in Crisis Core. After Zack defeats Genesis and lays him down, Vice and Neros picks up Genesis to learn their knowledge of rebirth. Because Genesis possessed the knowledge of rebirth. Pretty much, Genesis could bring the dead back. So they already got that skill. They're already been first-class soldiers. They're actually at Sephiroth's level. Just in Crisis Core alone, Vice the Accumulate was already Sephiroth's level. He was already at a high level. Like, if anything happened to Soldier, the new first-class soldier would have been Vice and Nero. And then they had their own group of soldiers called Deep Ground, where they had the most powerful. They fought. They have the empire of the most powerful characters, other characters, to fight until there's four people for the Wiess. So there's been a lot of sacrifices in Deep Ground to make sure that only the strongest stays on the Wiess level. To people who want to be a Wiess in the Deep Ground army. But okay, the point is, okay, Vincent Valentine, we don't really get to know very much of skills in the prequel or in Final Fantasy VII because he's not mentioned in Final Fantasy VII originally. But in Dirge of Cerberus, Vice the Accumulate has the power of Omega, and Omega like Chaos. Because Vice the Accumulate has power of Omega, and Omega is the light side of Chaos, that means Vice the Accumulate is an immortal. Now, the only reason why he died in the battle between Chaos and Vincent is because during the battle with him and his Omega transformation, Vincent defeated Omega, and Omega blew up, which, will rupture, internal organs, so that's the only reason why Vice the Accumulate was defeated. Plus, Vincent was a tad bit stronger in his Chaos form, because if you take Vincent Valentine's stats, he's in his regular base form, in his regular version of himself, he's just as strong as a first-class soldier. He's the only Turk that pretty much had the power of a first-class soldier, even though he's not a soldier. He's the strongest Turk in Final Fantasy history ever. Not just because of transformations and stuff like that, but also because of Chaos. Vincent's also immortal. The only way to defeat Vincent is to decapitate the head or, tear out his heart. That's the only two ways. It's the same thing with Vice the Accumulate. But since, after Chaos fight, since Chaos is a little stronger, the Chaos gets a little stronger, knows how to control it. It was controlled Chaos form, which is stronger than Chaos form Vincent. Controlled Chaos form Vincent, took out Vice the Accumulate in his Omega form. Now, what does that tell you? The only reason why Vice died because his inner organs ruptured, because, that's what an explosion will do. That's what an explosion will do, and after Vincent defeated Chaos blew up. That's why, even though the game's kind of unrealistic, because you'd see Vice really all messed up. Vice the Accumulate should look like Supreme Leader Snoke from Star Wars Episode 7, after being caught in the explosion of, Omega. So, besides all that, if he didn't get caught in the explosion, I think Vice probably wins. So, I'd say Vice, the Accumulate, has far better skills than Shuryin. Now, with that said, let's go through Shuryin's skills. You don't really get to see Shuryin's skills, but you do get to fight him as a regular person. He has the same strength as Titus, because Titus is, I think, in my head canon, Titus is actually a part of Shuryin. But so Shuryin, as strong as it is, being, the real Titus, So he's got all the skills that he does. So he's pretty strong and pretty formidable too, considering Titus is the one who took out Sin as well, which was his father in that form. And if you know how strong Jack is in that boss fight, then you understand how strong Titus would be after defeating Jack for the final time as Braska's final Aeon. So because of that, yeah, he's pretty skilled. We'll put that as skill. Also, he controls Vindnagun. The only way Shuryin can possibly win with using Vindnagun is use the full power of Venegun to evaporate Vice the Accumulate. You know, the only way he could do that is do that. So he's pretty skilled, controls the most powerful weapon in Final Fantasy X, and this weapon is even supposedly stronger than Sin itself, so that's double the power. So Shuryin can go on par with Vice. Now let's put the combatants together. Shuryin could use Venegun weapon to try and evaporate Vice, but Vice has so much combat history. He fights in as much battles as Sephiroth. That's why I call Vice the Accumulate Sephiroth's rival. He does the same kind of training, the same missions that almost get him killed, and this is before Omega was inside of him, and before Hojo manipulated Vice. Vice the Accumulate would probably dodge those attacks because he's had so much combat history, he probably knows. Because Vice lives war. He's like Mamoru Chief of Naruto. He loves war so much that it's a hobby to him. That's another reason why besides Hojo, he probably would have started this before because he wanted to fight so badly. That's why he liked Vincent as an opponent. That's why when Vincent turned to Chaos and you see that cutscene, Vice the Accumulate's smiling. Like he likes to fight Vincent. Like his favorite opponent is Vincent because Vincent gave him the match he wanted, because Vice is war-loving. He loves combat a lot. That's his whole life. That's Vice the Accumulate's whole life is nothing but combat. He loves it. He lives for it. You know, so he would, because the combat experience Vice the Accumulate has, he'd be able to dodge all that Venegun stuff. And, you know, sure, he probably won't win with this base form when he's just having the two swords and using all the speed as his best attacks. He probably will do some damage, but not very much, because Shuryin will give him a good fight. But I say Vice the Accumulate will win, not being a biased Final Fantasy fantard, but I say Vice the Accumulate will win because Vice the Accumulate would turn, you know, after a little bit around, they stop joking around, they stop jerking around, and then they start taking the fight seriously. Now, if Shuryin would have damaged Vice the Accumulate really badly, Vice the Accumulate really would pull out the Omega card, and when he pulls out the Omega, it has even more attack power than Venegun, because Venegun's only a weapon. I mean, yes, Omega's a weapon, but Omega's an elemental weapon, just like the weapons in Final Fantasy VII. You know, that's what Omega is. He's one of those extra weapons. That's why, you know, except Omega's a peaceful weapon. It's a weapon of peace, but since it's controlled by Vice the Accumulate, Omega is an evil weapon, because it's manipulated and controlled by Vice the Accumulate, because his body was filled with nothing but Genova cells and nothing else. Nothing else can contaminate Vice's body unless Nero goes inside, but we're not going to talk about that. So with that, I think Vice would win because not only the combat experience he has, but you know, he turns into Omega. It's more powerful than Venegun weapon, and you know, it's Omega weapon. Omega weapon Vice the Accumulate is just as strong as Safer Sephiroth. And you know how strong Sephiroth is in Safer form. You already know he can do Supernova. Yes. Vice the Accumulate and Omega form could do Hypernova like that. Or do that one attack that takes out your entire health when you're Chaos Vincent. Then you know what? He'd probably disintegrate Shuryin. So in this combat thing, I think Vice the Accumulate would beat Shuryin, no problem. Sure, it would be kind of a hard match because Vice won't take him seriously. It'd just be for fun because Vice likes to fight. That's just fun. But Vice the Accumulate would get damaged playing around too much because he's cocky and arrogant. So because of that, Vice the Accumulate would have to go Omega and then evaporate him. And that'd be the end of the match right there. Now you go ahead and be a fantard, dislike this video if you want, but I think this is my opinion. This is my Death Battle series, and this is what I think would happen. Like and subscribe. I'll put it in the end of the video.